What is up, guys? It's Alex here. I know it's been a while, but amazing things are constantly happening in the world of cryptocurrency. And probably the most exciting one right now is the progression of Elrond with the Maiar Exchange Launch. So I made this short guide on how to better understand and prepare for the opening of Maiar DEX launch in the upcoming days. Also, if you make it until the end of the video, you will know the exact strategy I'm going to use in order to get the most out of it. Let's dive right into the steps to follow. Breaking down the points in the following order, you should first claim your MEX on the Maiar Exchange website starting from 7th November. MEX is the native currency of Maiar DEX, same as EGLD is for Elrond network, securing the system. In order to be eligible for claiming your MEX, you had to take part in the MEX balance distribution cycle that began in April and that is closed now. And based on your staked EGLD during that period, you were assigned a certain amount of MEX that you can claim now. If you missed on that, or if you had your EGLD in other wallets like Binance, don't worry, there are solutions for you to not miss on this big opportunity that I'll cover in a bit. But let's move on to the second step, and that would be to unstake your EGLD so you can have it ready for adding it to the liquidity pools. By this time, you should already have your EGLD unstaked or in the unstaking queue. Keep in mind that it takes 10 days to unstake your EGLD, so if you have all your EGLD staked right now, it might be too late to catch the opening of the liquidity pools. But you can add it later to the pools, so you can start now unstaking your desired amount and still be early in the project. The third step would be that on 16th November, when the liquidity pools will open, to add your EGLD plus MEX to the EGLD MEX pool. The MEX that we can claim for free is actually a locked MEX and it will be locked for 1 year, but even if you cannot sell it directly, you can still provide liquidity with it, so it has the same utility. To understand how these liquidity pools work, you provide liquidity by adding a pair of 2 tokens in one pool. What this does, it creates a secured way for people to automatically swap these tokens in a smart contract. So instead of trading from user to user, one can now secure coins in a liquidity pool, thus making it accessible for others to automatically swap the tokens from that pool. Here, the reward will be a 0.25% from each transaction fee made from the pool that is shared among all the liquidity providers in that pool, based on how much liquidity you provide. Note that initially you can only add the same amount of value for each token. The value of token A needs to be equal to the value of token B. You can also opt for the EGLD BUSD or EGLD USDC pool, and soon there will be even more options available. Once you add liquidity, it will be shown in the My Liquidity tab on your Maiar Exchange connected wallet. And the fourth step. Once you have entered a liquidity pool, you will also be rewarded with LP tokens. You can stake this LP token, and this is basically when you enter in the farming, generating yields for a much higher API compared to the normal staking. And from this farming, you receive MEX for each transaction block, based on how much liquidity you offer. To get an idea, to fill one transaction block, you require 5 million MEX in the first week. But it doesn't necessarily have to be this specific amount that you have to enter with. It depends on your possibility to add more or less. On the other hand, if all these steps seem too complicated for you, you can skip all these and simply stake your MEX in the farming tab. No need to add liquidity. Also, not recommended that you move with all your EGLD to the liquidity pools, for there is a risk of impermanent losses, which very shortly described means the loss caused by selling a token through a liquidity pool at a certain price that might be surpassed by the price of that same token outside of the pool, in another exchange for instance. Thus, you would have made more profit by simply holding the token versus having it locked in the liquidity pool. Plus, if everyone would unstake their EGLD and move it to the liquidity pools, it would be a problem for the security of the network through the staking nodes. Also, if the vast majority would unstake their EGLD and move their funds to the exchange, the APR from staking EGLD through Maiar App or Elrond network would increase, and those who stay would benefit from higher rewards. I would suggest to allocate around 30 to 50% of your total EGLD to the Maiar Exchange liquidity pools. The other 50 to 70% I would keep it staked in the currently running nodes from the official Elrond trusted partners. Even so, you will probably find yourself in the position of having too little MEX compared to what you need in order to balance the amount of EGLD you want to allocate for entering the liquidity pools. In this case, you will be able to purchase additional MEX or swap EGLD for MEX starting from 19th November. You can calculate how much MEX you need in order to equivalent the amount of EGLD you want to add to liquidity. So my strategy for the launch will be on 16th to add all my locked MEX that I claimed alongside with the equivalent EGLD to the EGLD MEX liquidity pool and lock it for 1 year for a higher API. Then, on the 20th, when we will be able to buy MEX, I will swap at least 3 EGLD for 5 million MEX so I can occupy a full transaction block. After I swapped the 3 EGLD to obtain 5 million MEX, I will have to add another 3 EGLD to balance the 5 million MEX for entering a liquidity pool with 2 times the APR. Like that, the locked MEX resulted as a reward I can use again in the EGLD locked MEX combination. Congratulations if you made it this far. That will be it for this video. The entire volume of information would have been too much to cover in one short video. But if you found it useful, please consider sharing it so more people can know about the potential of Elrond network and take part in the world-changing ongoing events. If you still have unanswered questions, I will do my best to make it clear in the comments below. So see you soon. Thanks for watching.